We have a couple of cats. One of our cats is named Bob Jr. My wife named him Bob Jr. And the other cat is Loretta. When we want to give them their special food, their kitty candy, we call them. We say, Bobby, treats, and he'll run in and get up on the counter and he's ready. Loretta, she'll saunter into the next room and lie down on the floor. And the only way we can get her to come is we say, Loretta, room service. Bobby sleeps between my head and my wife's head. And I noticed something that I pointed out to her. I said, Sherry, do you realize he sleeps with his face towards me and his butt towards you? He does that because he loves me. She said, no, he does that because he trusts me. And Bob Jr. does tricks. Cats are not known for tricks. If you have cats at home, I've never heard of cats, but Bob Jr. does, and I'm not making this up, he does a trick. I can hold in my arms and say, Bobby, feign indifference. Very true. We live in East Dorset, outside of Manchester. It's about an hour from here. We love living here. Moved up here in 1990. And one of the first things I did when we moved here was join the AJCO. That's the Association of Jewish Chainsaw Owners. And I also volunteered for our fire department. So far I've had 6 hours of intense training, which qualifies me to do this. We love living here. Vermont has a lot of Jewish farmers. I don't know if you're aware of that. They're easy to spot. In the summer, they drive tractors with Florida license plates. And we have wonderful folklore, wonderful stories about Vermont. There's a writer, Walter Hard, from our town. He wrote in the 50s and the 40s. He told stories about small towns. One of them is about a little town after World War II. City people began building vacation homes. And there was a church that hadn't been used for decades. They reopened the church and held summer services. And they decided they really would like to call people to prayer by ringing the church bell. But they were sensitive to the year-round people. They called a town meeting to discuss it, as we do in Vermont. And everyone was fine with the idea until the very end, when the oldest woman in town stood up and spoke for the very first time. She said, the last time that bell tolled was to announce the death of our beloved President Calvin Coolidge. To hear that sound once again would simply be too painful, so I'm against it. And then she sat down. And then she stood up and said, or maybe it was Harding. We're very proud of our state university. I found out at UVM, apparently Hebrew, Russian, and German are located in the same building. It's called the Department of Semitic and Anti-Semitic Languages. And when we first moved to Vermont, we had a neighbor down the street who was not very friendly, and that upset me. But I was walking by his house one day, and I could see through the window he was waving to me. So I waved back, and he waved again, and I waved back, and he waved again, and I waved back, and I looked a little more carefully. He was using his elliptical. You know?